Talk, baby.
Welcome to the first Empty Netters Puckline News live show brought to you by BetMGM. We are here in our bar studio doing our Monday, Wednesday, Friday live show. It is Wednesday right now. We had 4 games last night. We are not going to waste any time. We are in the middle of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Things are out of control, spicy and hot. We're starting off with the Devils-Canes series where the Carolina Hurricanes are shutting up all the haters, and they are up 2-0 in the series. Big come-from-behind win. How do you feel about the fact that Carolina is up 2-0, CP?
I think I said 4, literally.
I think you said sweep too. I
Yeah.
think I said 5.
And
so we're not surprised.
I was kind of unraveled in those picks. It's hard to sweep in the NHL.
Yeah.
I was picking, dude. I was chimney sweeping that entire preview episode run. That was insane. So I'm not surprised they're up 2-0. They were, I think, like the second or third best home team in the league. You know what I mean? They protect home ice so well. They had 31 wins. Like, they were a tremendous home team. So I'm not surprised. After game 1, I think I even said on the pod yesterday, I was like, this series is over, dude. This is done.
Yeah.
But credit to the Devils for the first 5-10 minutes of that game. Like, I thought they were everywhere for the first few minutes.
They were totally everywhere. They got on the board first. They hit a post. This Devils team is playing hard. And I think the craziest thing about this series is, I mean, you look at it, they have 2 of the best penalty kills in the league, right? It means they're good defensive teams. I think Canes are 1 for 6 on the peeper. Devils are 0 for 5. Means that these teams are sticking to that good defensive play. We saw Freddie Anderson steal a game.
Dude,
that's been a huge thing, dude. People are saying, is Freddie Anderson good enough to win this team a cup? That was absolutely a steal. They went down. Freddie Anderson shut the door after that. But what's fucked is Markstrom is good too in this. Like, I feel, what was it? It was like 44 shots in game 1.
I think he made 41 saves in game 1.
So it's just, you've got 2 goalies playing really well. And this is one of those things to flip the script. Remember last year, or 2 years ago, whatever it was, when Brindamore was like, that wasn't a sweep in my mind. And they got swept. And they're all those close games. This might be a situation where Carolina sweeps the Devils or wins in 5, and the Devils just play really well in every single game like this.
Dude, and then what do you do if Keefe gives that interview? Like, what does Rod the Bod do if Keefe goes, that wasn't a sweep? Does Rod come into the post game and shake his? He goes, dude, now you understand. You get it.
Yes.
Now you get it.
And if Keefe has any hair on his shriveled up beanbag, he will go, to quote Rod Brindamore, that didn't feel like a sweep. Like, you have to go, poke it right in the nose, dude.
Oh, dude.
But yeah, this is one of those things we talked about. The Devils, man, you lose Jack Hughes in game 1, you lose Luke Hughes. It's a tall mountain to climb. And you're playing this great Carolina team. We talked about it on the podcast that came out yesterday. I think this Carolina Hurricanes team is pissed off. I think that they heard all the chatter about the Rantanen saga, people doubting their goaltending, people talking about how they can't get past the conference finals, blah, 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 blah. And I think that they're pissed. And it's very impressive when you see a game like last night where they go down, you have a chance to go up 2-0 on home ice, and they get the job done. And you get that 2 nasty goals.
Oh my God, dude!
2 nasty goals. They tie it up. Then Martinook on the PK.
Yeah, the shorty snipe, Stu.
Oh my gosh! So I think the Canes. If you're a Canes fan, obviously it's round 1 in a series that people picked you to win. These games are going well. These are the games that you feel good about.
Here's my question, dude. Because watching that game last night, and I want to say this too: the third period of that game was awesome. That was an awesome. This is the series. This is the first round series that I was excited for the least because I picked the sweep. And when there's a lot of games on, I'm usually like, that's not the one I'm putting on.
Yeah.
And I was glued to the TV for that third period. Both goalies standing on their heads. I thought it was just back and forth, electric hockey. Because the Devils, like you said, they give up that shorty. And you're like, God damn it, dude. Like, now we're going to lose, and this sucks. And they pushed back and were right in it and had a ton of chances to tie it. Carolina was pushing hard, too. Here's my question for you, because I expected this from Markstrom. This is why they got him. Freddie Anderson was doing that thing last night that he does sometimes, where I go, I go like this. They could win it. They could win it all if this is the guy they're getting. Yeah. And then, to me, he runs out of steam. I thought he was not good in the Rangers series.
I think that is not pointing fingers too much at a specific player, but yeah, I think he was subpar in the Rangers series last year.
So I'm looking up his playoff stats right here because I don't want to dog the guy.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just forget. Not last year, 2 years ago. Played 9 games in the playoffs, 9.27 save percentage, 1.83 goals against. That's actually tremendous.
Fantastic.
Last year, which in my memory was not good, 10 games played, 8.95, 2.62. Like you always say, below 9 in playoffs is not really going to cut it, but 2.62 isn't horrible, actually.
Not at all.
So far this year, 9.601 goals against, which is obviously great, but massively small sample size. He only played, because he's had so much injury issues, 22 games this season. Normally, I'm like, he's going to run out of steam.
Yeah, maybe he's fresh.
Is he fresh? Is he fresh as lettuce?
Maybe he's fresh.
Because that would be such a game changer for me, because I've always felt like that. I talk about this with the Kings, too, where I'm like, you didn't solve your goalie problem. You didn't solve it. And then they were like, yeah, we did with Kemper. And I was like, wait, maybe they did. And then maybe they didn't after game 1. But here, I'm like, Carolina, you didn't solve your goalie problem. And they're like, maybe solving the goalie problem was just
get him fresh.
Let Freddie go to sleep a little bit.
Take some time. Him coming back from his crazy health issues, what a great story. You love to see the fact that he's healthy, playing right now, playing well.
Yeah.
I wonder if this series, no disrespect to the Devils, is not enough of a test to see if we are getting fresh Freddie. Or play,
good take.
Hey, you lose Jack Hughes, you lose Luke Hughes. That's tough. You're not really getting maybe the best firepower that you're expecting in these playoffs. But I will tell you, it's like I said at the top, Freddie Anderson stole a game. And that's what you need. Canes have been saying for a long time. Canes fans have been saying for a long time. Ultimately, Freddie Anderson is a very good NHL goaltender. I don't think that's debatable. He is a very good NHL goaltender. But we have asked ourselves the question, is he good enough to steal you playoff games to take you to a Stanley Cup? He probably hasn't been yet. Yeah. But like you said, we've got fresh Freddie now.
It's weird, dude, because how old is he now? He's 35.
Is he that old?
Yeah, 35. Because, dude, his I give him credit, dude, because it was a tough job in Toronto, but he has a high ceiling. When he's going, I'm like, oh, dude, Freddie's sick.
We've seen it many, many times. You're playing against the guy, and all of a sudden you're just like, Jesus Christ, nothing is getting past this son of a bitch. What is going on here? So that's what the Canes need. And I mean, listen, through 2 games, you're up 2-0. This is exactly what you wanted if you're the Hurricanes. You're playing your game. You've got 2 wins. Now you go in all the pressure on the Devils, and your goalie is playing fantastic.
What did you think, despite the fact that it single-handedly won us an empty netter, what did you think about that Timo whiff?
I mean,
bouncing puck.
Bouncing
puck. It's bouncing
puck. I'm not going to call that a whiff. I mean, a whiff is you have a, Michelin star service on a platter right in front of you, and maybe you're not ready for it. You whiff it, you miss it on the heel. That's a bouncing puck. I'm not going to call that a whiff, but it did. That sucked to see.
It just is.
If you're a Devils fan, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, and that's one of those hard to go to bed ones when you're Timo.
Absolutely.
That night you get back and you're like, sorry, and everyone's like, dude, not your fault, but you're just like, well, kind of was.
Kind of was. Before we move on to the next series, let's go to the chat. Let's see what people are talking about with the Canes Devil series. CP, you see any questions about this series in particular?
Honestly, people are firing about Bolts.
Panthers, no shit, you are, chat. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
If we have any Canes Devils questions, we can hit them. But if not, we can move right on.
I think we'll move on if you talk about it. But I will say, I just wanted to bring this up, going into the next, and I still think it's a sweep, dude. Like I am I'm kind of like this. Devils, you have my respect.
Yeah.
You have my respect because you're not rolling over and letting them rub your belly. But I still think you're going to get swept. I will say, though, I talked about how good the Canes were at home. 16, 21, and 4 away. Mm-hmm. So they weren't that good on the road this year. The Devils, though, only 19, 17, and 5 at home, and they haven't been good at home for years. Remember, we would always look this up, even 2 years ago when they were like winning the Met. I was like, the Devils are 500 at home.
Yeah, it's very
So
strange.
They don't play that well at the Prue, which hurts, but the Canes haven't been that good on the road, so we'll see. Game 3, obviously, that's the one you got to take if you're Jersey and you want to make this interesting at all. Because if they lose game 3, I think they probably do roll over.
Yeah, I don't even think they do in that. I'm sticking with 5. I think the Devils are going to get a game here, one of these games at home. And but ultimately, I love the Canes. I love the way that they look. I think they've got it. Going to the next series, probably the biggest roller coaster game for me so far these playoffs, even with that insane Kings game.
Yeah.
Leafs, Sens. Leafs go up 2-0 in the series with an OT win. Max Domi zigging and zagging through the slot, gets the win for the Leafs. I thought the Sens were dead in the first period of this game.
Dude,
So chat, let's get going. We're talking Leafs Sens right now.
At the beginning of that, we talked about yesterday how the Toronto played a damn near perfect game 1, and they should feel great about it, which they do.
Yeah.
Coming into this game, we both said if the Sens lose, you never want to be down 2-0, but if the Sens lose and they give them a back and forth fight and you show you can beat them, they're maybe okay with a 2-0. Mm-hmm. Dude, this game starts, and in Olmark's defense, Holmberg had a partial breakaway early that he stopped.
He did.
And literally like a minute in, that would have been like, oh, God.
He did.
But, dude, right after that, Marner hits the post on a gaping net. And I'm like, that should have gone. And then they get 2 to go in on their first 4 shots of the game, and the place is going batshit. And I'm like, oh, dude, they are about to win 8-0 and the cup, and Ullmark is yanked, and the Senators are going to wave the white flag, not even play in front of their home crowd because it'd be too embarrassing, and then remove themselves from playoff, give themselves a 1-year suspension from playoffs for next year, and then they'll regroup in 2 years. That's how I felt 5 minutes.
That's how it looked.
Yeah.
Riley got the first goal, I believe. Was that right?
Yeah.
Riley gets on the board. Then they get the peeper, and toe drags, throws one in front to Nyes.
Yeah, and
I think it was 20 seconds into the power play.
Yep.
But that is when I tweeted out something like, I was like, I think the Sens are dead. I mean, they might be cooked. And
I was just going to say, because the Riley one hit his skate. It's one of those like, I never know about that when they're like, no kicking motion. But I'm like, you're stopping with your skate angle. And I'm not even saying like Riley's cheating. He kicked it in. I'm saying I would have done that. But I'm just like,
no, it's
isn't
so
that
tough.
A kicking motion?
It's so tough.
But anyway, he off his skate, and then the Tavares one and Nyes one is like off Ullmark, off a body, back in. So it's one of those things where if you're Ottawa, a fan, or Ullmark himself, it's not like you're just giving up softies. You're like, I just fucking hit someone,
Yeah.
But it's in the net, dude, and we're down again.
That's what I was going to say. It's in the net, and you are now, again, when you get scored on in 30 seconds on a power play, I am like, oh, we're so fucked.
Yeah.
It's like going back to Four Nations. It's like when Canada scored instantly against Sweden on that first game. They get a power play, boom, goal. You just feel like you are so underwater if you are the defending team getting scored on that fast. And yeah, you're now down 2-0 in the game immediately in the first period. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this team is so fucking dead. It's unbelievable.
And dude, I think they were the power play. You talked about just like scoring quickly on the power play.
Yeah.
I think the Leafs in this game, that was 1-for-1 on the power play, and they scored 3 power play goals the night before. You're like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, you cannot be giving up power. It's like Kings Oilers last year, when every time they go on the power play, you're like, here's a goal.
Yeah.
That cannot be your mentality, and that's how it's feeling.
For sure. And I think so credit to the Sens. You tie this game up, sure. To me, that first game, we talked about it on the podcast, Sens looked so undisciplined in game 1. I mean, they were just kind of buzzing all around the ice, taking shitty penalties, playing ugly, not playing their game at all. This game, you go down 2-0, you tie it up and you take it to OT. That's amazing. To do that at Scotiabank too, that's great. I still don't think they're playing their game at all.
Oh, interesting.
They're exciting, high-flying offense that got them into playoffs, even with such a bad goal diff. That is what got them into playoffs. They aren't doing that at all. They get 2 goals on tips, skates. Brady's first playoff goal is pretty ugly, but whatever, you're on the board. That's good. But they're just not getting that play from Brady, from Stützle, from Pinto, like these exciting offensive players that have seen them beat teams in crucial games to make sure they get in the playoffs. They're not doing that here. And no disrespect to Toronto, I just don't think this is this like suffocating, crazy defensive team that is going to completely muffle Ottawa. They've made a lot of additions on defense. They invested in goaltending. They invested in D. They're much better, Toronto. That's great. But Ottawa is I don't want to say playing scared, but they definitely don't look like a team that had that young, dumb confidence in the last half of the season. So I am kind of sitting here being like, when are you guys going to wake up? But maybe this is it. Maybe that tie up, get it to OT, put a little bit of pressure on Toronto. Like, imagine if Ottawa gets that OT win, and now you're heading into Ottawa, tied 1-1. Toronto fans will be losing their fucking minds. So if you are Ottawa, you have to have that mentality of like, guys, we're coming home. 2 wins, all of a sudden this is tied, and they're sweating. They're shitting down their leg. That's what you need.
I'm with you, and it's so tough. I even wrote down, I started to write, I'm actually fine if I'm Ottawa. Like, you feel pretty good about that pushback. But 0-2 is 0-2, and 0-2 sucks. Like, you really, it's so funny because you're like, I just want a split would be amazing. But if you don't get a split, it's worse. It's nightmare. And I'm like, well, it's not nightmare. You just have to fucking win at home now.
And let me tell you this, little feather in the cap for Toronto fans. This is the first time the Maple Leafs have been up 2-0 in a playoff series since 2002 against the New York Islanders.
Wow.
Like,
I hope they won that series.
Things are different.
Yep.
It's everyone keeps talking about our year, Leafs year, all the signs, all the things. We've got those references to 1967. Last time, what was it? Bruins and Red Wings missed the playoffs.
Yep.
Was 1967. Leafs win the cup. Like, there are just things that are happening that are big for this team. And here we are, up 2-0, first time in over 20 years.
I will say that even though the part of me would rather see you start pumping some by Stolar's good goals if you're Ottawa, because like both of them was like a tip that he couldn't do anything about, and Brady's like hit a skate, right? But sometimes that's what it takes, where you're just like, just get him past him. Just get him past him. It starts going in the net a little bit. I will say, though, dude, the Ottawa and consolation prizes don't mean shit in the playoffs, but I said after game 1, there were long stretches of that game where I thought Ottawa was the better team. And going down 2-0 early the way you did, dude, that could have spiraled horribly. And the fact that Ottawa came back, I think they played so well. And Ullmark, by the way, dude, I forget, I wrote it down how much time was left. There was like 3 minutes left in regulation. He made that great save on Matty Nyes. That those are the confidence saves for him. That he's like, dude, I gave up too early, and everyone started saying I suck, and everyone's chanting my name. But those were both hit off someone's knee and skate, and then I shut the door the rest of the time until Domi went bar in OT from nude in the slot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I actually think there was a lot of confidence build in that Ottawa team from 10 minutes in the first till the OT goal went in.
Yeah.
Because you beat them 2-0 in that stretch, and you know, or a 2-1, I guess. And then it's a good OT goal anyway. So it as bad as being down 2-0 is, I think they probably feel much better than the Devils.
Much better.
You know, you're like, we can protect home ice and do this.
And this is kind of a stupid point, but obviously much better than they did in the first period. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
dude. Oh
they're
my
in that
God.
first period, like, oh my God, are we going to get swept? And now I think if you're Ottawa, you definitely do have to have some blind confidence of like, look at that. We took them to OT. We're fine. Before we get to the chat, how do you feel about Ullmark? Has had bad playoff performances. He has never in his life in the playoffs been over 900 save percentage.
Yeah.
Now here he is through 2 games. He's the guy here in Ottawa, was unbelievable against the Leafs all regular season, had a great season. He now has an 800 save percentage and a 4.39 goals against. Absolutely horrible. Are you sweating it at all, or do you think after those first 2 unlucky bounces, he kind of figured it out, shut the door? Obviously, Domi gets that one in OT, but do you feel a little bit better, or are you like, dude, this is not it?
I'm kind of in between, Dan. I feel better because I do think he played great for 50 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know he has ability, and I feel better because I think that was a bit of a confidence build. The rest, shutting the door the rest of the way there. But I'm still worried because I just think it's still on a knife's edge. Like his whole confidence, his whole game. I don't think something unlocked last night. I think he goes, I feel better. And then if the first 2 shots go in game 3, he's like, I don't feel better. This is a nightmare. You know, like he didn't create the monster that's in him. I still think it could swing back so hard the other way.
Yeah, I think my final thought on that is he needs a huge game 3. I mean, even if Ottawa wins game 3, if they win 5-4, I don't feel good. I need a one goal against performance from him in Game 3.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's right.
Hit it to the chat.
Okay, couple things in the chat here, Dan. People pumped about Stellars. Oh, what's your take on the Brady sucks chant?
Shout out who it is.
Okay, this is from Casey Mack. Take on the Brady sucks chant.
I love it. I love it. It's shithousery. It's the same thing as, I don't know if people saw Ridley Gregg's stick. I think it was Ridley Gregg's stick went into the Toronto bench. Matthews took it and snapped it over the boards.
Yeah.
It's playoff hockey, baby. All shithousery is acceptable. This is why I love European football. It's like, I want the fans to be the sixth man, right?
Yeah.
I want you guys in it as much as possible. That's their captain. That's their energy guy, their best player. Absolutely motherfuck him all game. Brady loves it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's personal. I think that they're targeting their best player and they're getting a Brady sucks chant. I love it.
Dude.
And keep in mind, this is a Canadian barn. Brady was huge for Team USA. I mean, like, there's a lot of backstory to that. But, yeah, I love it. Just like I love Austin snapping the stick on the bench. Like, keep it up.
Jack Sherwood says the boys are feeling gritty after that stick snap.
Oh, definitely.
I think at first I was like, dude, you can't be doing this. You can't be doing the Brady sucks chant just because you're Canadians and you're mad about foreign nations. But then I was like, well, you are rivals, and
you can.
and that's their best player. But then I was like, actually, that might be the one person I wouldn't want to.
Oh yeah, don't wake him up.
Yeah, I'm like, dude,
like,
just
I love it.
I would be like this. Brady, great job. You're doing great. You're doing great. Yeah. Trick him. Get in his head, kill him with kindness.
Yeah, it's like when you're being really nice to someone you're going to beat.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing
great
in a game and you're like, someone gets a goal and you like give them a stick tap on the shins and you're like, dude, sick talk. And
great.
they're like,
fuck you, man.
What the fuck? Did you just compliment me? Is that how badly you're going to beat me? Maybe do the reverse psychology.
Yep.
Reverse
psychology. So yeah, be careful. Be careful. Definitely. Sens fans are going to be giving it to them right back though. Okay, I saw a good one here. Let me see if I can find it because everything moves. But someone asked, does how far the Leafs go impact Marner's?
Love this question. Love this question. It might be too early for this because you always wonder if you win, you want to run it back, right? Like you want to come right back. But then you see stuff like Brandon Montour, for example. Like the Cats win the Cup, Montour leaves to Seattle. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, like it is a business. You need to figure out how the cap works. Does Toronto have the space? Are they going to invest another 8 years in Marner? Because that's certainly what he's asking for.
Yeah.
We just saw him get 100 points. Like, this dude is going to ask for big money, more than Nylander, maybe as much as, or if not more than Matthews. That's what you should be asking if you're his agent. Mm-hmm. So those are the things that are like, it might not be up to if Marner just wants to stay, but could I see if they win a cup? Could I see Marner going, I'll take a pay cut? Yes.
Yeah.
That's his hometown.
He does love it there.
He loves it there. He loves Willie. He loves Austin. I do think so, yeah. I think if they win a cup, it definitely changes things. That's it, though. I think if they make it to round 2 or the conference finals and then lose, doesn't change a thing. The chips will fall how they fall. But if they win a cup, I think
so. It's cup or bust.
Cup or bust for him.
Cup or bust. Okay, I like that. Let's see. Some people in the chat saying Sens are going to even this thing up, and I actually love that. So that'd be cool.
I love that too, and I will say it's taking that to OT changed. That's why I said it was a roller coaster.
Yep.
Because taking it to OT completely changes my mind as far as how is Ottawa feeling going into Game 3. If they had got shit pumped 4-0,
yep,
5-1, I think that they would be like, Jesus, we are outclassed in this series. But now you're going home. You got a great fan base there. That barn's going to be buzzing. Yeah, they could.
Yep. Sends Jacob's comments send stronger home team. So I think it will be interesting to get in there.
Call.
I just saw a hilarious one. God, this moves so fast. I saw a hilarious one that said, thanks for going live, boys. It's late enough on the East Coast. Might have a beer. And that fires me up.
Hey, after that comment, if you don't have that beer,
that fires me up, dude. That fires me up a lot.
Okay, shall we move on to the Battle of Florida?
Okay. Yeah, all right, chat. Here we go. Because everybody's firing about Florida.
You're horny for the Battle of Florida, and here we are. The most anticipated series in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion.
Oh, dude. Not only is it is easily the most anticipated series in the Eastern Conference, and I actually think this was the most anticipated series. I thought that was a beer. I was like, yes, dude. That is actually the most anticipated series for me because Dallas, Colorado, which I think are two incredible teams. Just with some of the injuries, it lost a little juice for me at the beginning. And I think maybe it's because this one took so long to start. I was just like, feed me this game.
Absolutely added to it.
Feed me this game. Dude, both of us.
Can I do something real quick?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like a fucking idiot.
Dude.
It's listen, far from over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have so much to say about Tampa, but we talked about it. I think we both picked Tampa in 7.
Yes.
And in our preview, I was like, Florida fans, don't jump all over us for this. You guys are nasty. I'm worried about your health.
Yeah.
That was my only thing. Tons of people sleeping on the Panthers. Shout out Johnny Laz. Tweeted last night. He was like, I slept on, or sleeping on the, oh yeah, I said Panthers.
Yep.
Laz tweeted, he was like, I slept on Florida. Sorry. A lot of people were doing that. Tampa got so hot at the end of the year. Florida was so banged up. We were not sleeping on them, but I was worried about them, and they just shoved it up my hoop. They're totally fine. Bob looks like goalie Bob again, and that was a shit kicking on enemy territory.
Dude, it's a we said Toronto dream first game 1.
Yeah.
Kings were on the precipice of a dream game 1.
Yep.
Those game 1s are a clown show compared to the game 1 that the Florida Panthers gifted themselves and their fans.
My goodness.
Dude, I've been trying to figure out the funnier movie reference. It's something between the There Will Be Blood, I've Abandoned My Boy, like watching myself watch that Panthers game, and then after having talking so much shit about them and being like, they're dead, dude. Like Tampa.
Yeah.
And then they're like, goal. And I was like, oh, dude, I've abandoned my child, dude. And then also the, I think it's Cinderella Man, when they're like, go fight this guy. He's been sitting on his couch for 3 years. And he's like, what kind of couch is that, dude? Because he looks fucking fine and jacked.
I think that's the fighter.
Is it the fighter? Yeah. That's the fighter.
Yeah.
So, dude, I was flabbergasted by the start.
Man, I there's a few things. Shout out to the Netters fans who were sliding into our DMs, all of the Cats fans who were, I will chirp you a little bit, who were a little bit worried at the end of the season. They were like, damn, what's going on? And dude, that cockiness just came back like an absolute freight train. They were like, Cats in 5, dude, going right back, repeat coming. And I get it, because that was the Cats team that won the cup, dude. You got Schmidt with 2 goals.
Yep.
Matty Tkachuk with 2 goals. And it looked like that just pestering Florida Panthers team that won a Stanley Cup, that people thought could repeat, and here we are. I can't believe not how well the Panthers were, how bad Tampa was.
Okay.
That was a laydown that I did not expect. And I know you have some things that happened that you want to bring up. And here's the thing, people forget. Very quick goal. First 5 minutes, goal by Florida. But then Tampa gets on the power play. Gensel, great little hands there,
oh my
by
God,
the way, to tuck that inside the post. But they tie it up. And I was like, okay, all right, like, whew, everyone breathe. But man, after that, even with, and I want to kick it to you and let you get into the coach's challenge situation, they were just, that was as bad of a game as I've seen Tampa play in 3 months.
Okay, you're right. All said and done. And those are the facts.
Yeah.
So you're right. But I just want to say the Bennett goal, while definitely is sucks the life out of you a little bit, was a bit mid-air bat in, so you're like, whatever. And it's an early goal, but it's like, okay. And yeah, does your butthole tighten a little bit? Because you're like, fuck. Yeah. Here are the Panthers, and they look healthy. But I actually thought both teams really settled in after that, and it was a good game. These were always going to be good games. Yeah. Like we said Tampa, but I was like, Florida's the defending champs for a reason. They've been to 2 straight cups. I thought both teams settled in after that. And on the power play, while it started to scare me how good Bob looked, because how many times have we said, Bob's been leaky this year, but does he have another gear? Which he was. Yeah. But does he have another gear in playoffs? We'll see. Looked like it last night. But he made 2 great saves, I think on Hagel first, and then against one-timer on that power play.
Yeah, Hagel gets that dish standing in front of the net, and good move.
Yeah.
A little shake and bake, tries to tuck it under the blocker, but yeah.
So you're like, oh shit. But then Gensel, same power play, Gensel, quick hands, tie, and I'm like, okay, you're going to go into this period 1-1 and no blood, and you actually feel good if you're Tampa, because you go, well, they came out hot, and we weathered it, and now we're fine. And then you get that Reinert tip with 30, 40 seconds left in the first period. Sucks giving up goals that late in the period, and really changes your attitude in the room. But again, just like a tip-in goal, whatever. this is where it. So I guess my larger point there is I didn't think they played badly, Tampa, even through the first down 2-1. I was like, this is a fine. This is a fine.
I'll give you the
first period, and you're gonna be okay. To start the third, I wrote down how quick it was. I think it was like 5 minutes in. They get the Schmidt goal. And it's like kind of a turnover, but it's just a heavy forecheck from Florida. Turnover, Marshy, rip, save, squirts loose, Schmidt, crashing backdoor, goal. That challenge, to me, was so insane by Cooper, who's a coach I could not respect more. It was so insane to me for two reasons. One, and less importantly, that didn't look like goalie interference to me at all. And in fact, there are several times during the NHL season where I'm positive it's goalie interference and they still don't give it goalie interference.
Yep.
So that one, I was like, you're definitely not getting this one, dude. Nothing happened. So that was just an insane challenge from that regard. But more importantly, dude, it reeked of panic to me where I was like, are you worried about being down 3-1 with 15 plus minutes left in the second period?
Completely
like, who
agree.
gives a fuck if that goes in? Just score 2 more goals and beat them. Like, what? If there was 5 minutes left in the game, yes, challenge. Because it's like, I don't want to have to get 2. There's an eternity left. Who fucking cares?
Dude, you're buzzing. I completely
Come
agree.
on.
Completely agree. I hated the challenge. Watching it, there were Tampa fans texting me who were like, why are we challenging this? This is not goalie interference. I hated the challenge. And yeah, I wouldn't maybe call it fear, but it did feel like a challenge where you're grasping at straws. You're looking for something to help your team's momentum. I didn't like it at all. You didn't need it. And obviously, as you said, a result, boom, you're now in a deeper hole, and it just looked like it was out of control.
A lot of people saying desperate challenge in the chat right now.
Yeah,
and
there
it
you
was.
go.
Yep.
Good call, chat. Like it was desperate. It felt like you were just like, we need something here. And that just wasn't it. Like, you're fine. You're down 3-1. You're telling me this team can't get 2 goals, tie this up. And you go in that hole, and then to me, it was the Tkachuk's second goal. I think that made it 5-1.
Yeah, because he scored on the power play after the challenge. He scores on the power play 4-1, and then Tampa takes another penalty, and Tkachuk gets another power play goal and makes it 5-1.
The 5-1 goal, you saw Tkachuk's celly. He just kind of did like a. That was when I was like, oh, dude. Obviously it's 5-1. But that felt to me, you see that body language and that energy from Florida. They're like, we are absolutely fisting this team.
Yeah.
And, I loved the energy from Pointer when he gets his nice goal, 5-2. He's kind of trying to pump up the boys. Great pass from McDonough. You mentioned earlier the forecheck.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe, when I'm talking about, I think it was a poor game from Tampa. The way the Florida Panthers forwards were getting behind Tampa's defense all fucking night long was shocking to me. I thought we got another unbelievable season from Hedman. You've got McDonough on this team. I was like, this is a really solid D, and I think that they're going to bounce back. Absolutely, I do. But I just thought they were smothered by Florida's forecheck. I thought on the power play, guys were getting down low below the hash marks, banging in these goals, and it was just a really tilted performance, and Florida won it.
Yep.
Now, I also don't think there's any world where we're going to see Vazzy let in 6 goals again. And I love how we know Vazzy's famous for this. He never likes getting yanked. When he's getting shit pumped like this, he's like, keep me in, dude. I want to see all the shots. So, yes, I love the cockiness from Florida fans. I love the confidence from the Florida players. But to me, I think that this was a kick in the teeth. You got the stallion kicked you in the mouth, and now you know not to fucking mess around his tail. And I think Tampa right now is in that locker room. They're going, all right, dude, we're on home ice. That was bad.
Yeah.
But, like, just shake it off. Everyone relax. I think game 2 is going to be a much different story. And if it's not, I will eat crow, and I'll be like, oh, boy. Like, this is just the Florida team from last year. And we thought things had changed. We thought maybe they were a little banged up, but they're not.
Yep.
I think game 2 is going to be much, much different. Now, if I'm wrong about that or right about that, it's going to be incredibly telling. I think game 2 is going to change perspectives one side or the other in a big, big way.
Okay, a few things to respond to there. Vasi, agree. A lot of people saying Vasi was brutal, shocking Vasi performance, which we agree with. I think I wrote down through 2 periods, the Panthers had 13 shots and it scored 5 goals.
Yeah.
against Vasilevsky. Like, that is not something that happens or can happen.
Yeah.
But he is the type of sicko, as you said, that wants that.
Yeah.
He wants to see them all go by him because he's just using it as fuel for the next game.
And also wants to see the shots.
Yep.
How are they beating me?
Yep.
Where are they shooting from? Absolutely.
And I'm trying to think back to all of them. It's like the tip, the midair, the tip, the rebound, the Kachuk one, like hit something, like I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but it's not like he's just getting beat on clean wristers from the point that he could see. So I think he's going, I'm unaffected by, I'm unaffected and unfazed by that performance. Game 2, you said will be telling. If the Panthers win game 2, I am like waving the flag on my Tampa deep playoff run that I have called and you have called, because I'm just too terrified. They're great at home like that. I just don't think you can lose 2 games in Tampa to this team who is now healthy and ready to go. The stats, I know it can happen, but like it's an overwhelming, like if you win the first 2 games on the road, you win the series. So to me, going into this game, it is damn near as must win as you can get this early in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you're the Tampa Bay Lightning. If they win, Dan, I am barely like, everything's back to what I thought it was going to be. I guess I always thought 7, but if they win a close one, I'm like, you're in the battle of your life still. I guess if they pump the Panthers, we can have a conversation. But if they beat the Panthers 3-2 in game 2, I'm going to be like, dude.
See, I disagree because I don't think home ice means shit in this series.
Yeah.
I think we're in the Battle of Florida, dude. Now, I say that as someone who loves both of these fan bases and arenas.
Yep.
But we have a lot of Panthers fan friends who are texting us from the game.
Yeah,
they were at Amelie. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this doesn't matter. It's like, what is that drive? Like 3 hours? I don't even know what it is. But these places are close. I could see so easily Florida going up 2-0 here, and then Tampa going to our Sunrise and tying it 2-2.
Yep.
I could absolutely see that. This is now, and I suppose the one thing that could happen in this next game that would absolutely flip the script for me is if Florida beats the piss out of them.
If they score 5 goals on Vasi again.
If they get 5+ goals on Vasi again in a comfortable, easy win, then I'm like, oh, you are dead.
Yep.
But if Florida wins any other way, I'm like, I will never count out this Tampa team. A lot of people, someone in our DMs said something like, people think this Tampa team is the team from 4 years ago. They're wrong. I completely disagree with that sentiment. No, this is a completely different team, and they're nasty. So I think Tampa's going to wake up, and game 2, like I said, is going to be very telling one way or the other. And I'm pumped. I can't believe this is the result of game 1, but it's made me as pumped for game 2 as I was for game 1. So
yeah, for sure. A lot of people saying Ekblad,
let's
Ekblad
kick it
back.
to the chat. Yeah,
that's a good call.
Ekblad back game 3.
Well, that's what they're saying. Game 2, you got to win. Game 2.
Because
now you get Ekblad back, which I actually don't think is like as much of a game breaker.
Yeah, it's not getting
like
Cale Makar
Robo
back.
getting back or something. Yeah,
and poor Ekblad, God, he's such a good player, but he is also. It's a lot of hockey on those legs. So
yep,
he's banged up.
Here's one thing I have been considering in my brain about the Panthers.
Yeah.
I have said, and even if they win this series, I still kind of think, I said to you on one of the preview eps, I don't think the Panthers have enough energy to go on a 4-series cup run, but they certainly have enough energy to win a round.
Yes.
But now I'm even questioning that because maybe it's the Freddie Anderson thing where I'm like, well, they just shut everyone down.
They've been rested.
They shut everyone down after 4 nations, and now they're like, now
rested.
we're ready to go. So that's actually very rattling. A lot of people mad at Cooch in this chat. Cooch a passenger. Cooch was in All-Star Weekend mode.
Saying in game 1.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to side with the chat here. I agree. That's kind of what I was saying. I was shocked at how poor the Lightning were, and I keep thinking to myself, you just got caught sleeping. Maybe you're at home, you're feeling pretty good about the end of the season, but don't forget they got tallywhacked by the Rangers, and I know some people were shut down, but like Cooch was playing in the game. I think they lost 4-0. So, the last game of the season wasn't that great. So maybe they were a little sleepy, dude. You got to brush out the cobwebs, got some eye boogies in the corner of your eyes there, and you need to wake the hell up. But I don't disagree with the chat. I thought Cooch was, after that first period, I thought he was coasting.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah, the Lightning, because some people, Panthers fans, are saying the Panthers didn't even play that well. The Lightning were just that bad.
I think that is wrong. I think that's classic. You're trying to flip the script, because Bolts fans right now are going like this. We didn't play well, dude. And Caps fans are going, neither did we.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You scored 6 goals, dude. You were 3 for 3 on the power play. That's not that good. You played a great game.
I think that's right. There's a lot of talk about Tkachuk in here. I actually think that was the worst part of it for Tampa. That
Tkachuk being awake and scoring
and 2 goals. I think if he's like, he plays okay and he's doing his rat thing, but it's like he's off the score sheet, and whenever you go, he's back, but he's not such a game breaker like the internet wanted us to believe.
Dude,
him give not only scoring twice, Dan, but also just giving the team the adrenaline push of like that was bad.
Do you remember earlier this season? I also said it last season. I made some sort of a statement that was like, here's the thing. If I'm starting a franchise, Matthew Tkachuk is probably a top 5 player off the board for me.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yep.
This fucking kid just performs in the biggest games. The brightest lights, the largest stage, Matthew Tkachuk turns into Hercules.
Yep.
And that is what you need. He's a capable 100-point guy during the regular season, and then also the second the playoffs start, he will literally kill himself.
Yeah.
He will destroy his own body to get a win. And absolutely, Tampa sees that performance, and they're like, God damn it, this kid is awake.
Yep. Dan, listen to this one. Shout out Andrew Kenward. Incredible comment right here. Maurice was clear, didn't care where we were seated or who we played. Just wanted to rest everyone. That looks very accurate right now.
Sure does.
Because remember, I was like, dude, they got to win. They don't want to get in this Toronto team. Dude, couldn't care less, dude. Couldn't care if I'm on the road, we don't have home ice. I know that if we are healthy, we have the best team. Yeah. So I just need us to get healthy, and then I'll play whoever you want. I went to the Cup as an 8 seed. I beat the best record of all time, Bruins.
Went straight to the Cup.
Get off me, dude.
That's a Stanley Cup winning coach right there.
Yeah.
Final game of last night. We are getting into a series that is now officially tied up 1-1. Vegas versus the Minnesota Wild. We thought after game 1, we had, oh boy, yikes. Here's Vegas. They got an empty net goal.
Yeah, how
Love
are
to
you?
see it. But we said, what did we say? Couldn't believe how physical the Minnesota Wild were in that game 1. They came out forechecking. You had Matt Boldy, who at the time, I think, what was it? He had 1 goal in 12 games or something like that. Hadn't really had that playoff breakout, but boom, scores 2. Now you have this Minnesota team coming out punching again, and they go up 4-0 in this game.
Dude, what's crazy about this game is I might have picked Vegas in 4, but I picked them in 4 or 5.
Oh, you swept it. You brought out the broom, I think.
And then after game 1, I said to our boy on the team who's a Wild fan, I was like, yo, my bad. They looked so much better with all the boys back. You kind of forget the run Krill was on before he got hurt, how good Minnesota looked before everybody went down, that I was like, my bad. This is actually going to be a tough series. And then for the first 5 minutes of this game, I was like, oh, never mind. I was right. Vegas is going to sweep them. Like, they had the first 5 shots. They were literally buzzing. Minnesota didn't have the puck for 5 minutes. And I was like, oh, Vegas was just easing into the playoffs, and now they're going to ether these guys. And actually, Hill made a couple decent stops. Like, Hartman had a break early.
Oh,
yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, dude, we're fine.
Scoreline unfair to Hill in this game. I thought Hill played well.
I actually agree. And then, but then Boldy scores, stays super hot.
But hold on. That was the most putrid pass I have ever seen in my life from Kaprizov. And you said it a second ago. You were like, Krill, dude, people forgot. Do you remember how much of a hard-on I had for Krill Kaprizov winning MVP this year?
Dude.
The guy, I think you said he had like 20 goals in 20 games. Like, he was so nasty. Then he got hurt and was out for a long time. Krill is just back, dude, and I'm like, this guy is fucking disgusting.
He's gross. Dude, I was pissed too because, and I'm glad we didn't bet it because we would have lost, but I was all over you preseason, and you talked me out of it, but I was all over you preseason that we should bet Krill 60. Yeah. I was like, he's going to score 60 this year. And you were like, well, that's ridiculously high. And I was like, I know, but we got to bet it. And then at 23 games, I was like, he's going to have 60 at 4 Nations break, dude. So we would have lost, so thank you for talking me out of that. But yes, that's the man I was betting on, and that's the man who has shown up for the first 2 games of the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's like, listen, playoffs are a long run. We'll see what happens in this series, but he looks fresh as lettuce, to quote Tom Brady. But, I mean, man, this team, they're buzzing. I've said so many times, Joel Eriksson-Ek, he's just one of the best two-way centers you can have. He is banging bodies. Boldy is awake. Krill is on the score sheet as well. I think the young defensemen look really good. And you love, if you're Minnesota, this wasn't a gritty win, right? This was an emphatic win. I know Vegas made it a little close. You ended up getting an empty net goal in there. How are you? But this was a really strong win. And again, even if it lasts a couple games, you've kept Vegas's big stars off the score sheet for the most part. And that is so valuable. It's so valuable.
Yeah, I've had a weird thought process on this one.
Yeah.
Because... And this game, dude, was sloppy from Vegas. I would say after Boldy's goal, the next three that made it 4-0 were off like bad turnovers, really messy passes sloppy at your own blue line, turning into odd man rushes. And you're right, not totally on Hill because they're bad breaks on odd man rushes. But you know, it's one of those where you would always talk about Tuukka, where you're like, God, I wish I got that save. Yeah, I don't deserve that save, but just give it to me, please.
Yeah, like we put you in a shit spot, but I'm
and it's on us
to get that one.
Yeah, so there's some sloppy turnovers from Vegas that puts them in this big hole, and I'm like, oh, wow, Minnesota looks good, and they might steal this. And then I think, did Hurdle get the first one? Or no, Hannafin scored on a nice goal, because Gus played well again.
Yes, he sure did.
But Hannafin scores on a nice goal. Hurdle stays hot, which Vegas needs, and he got it pretty early in the third, and I was like, here they come. They're actually going to, I bet they tie this game.
Yeah.
And then I thought Minnesota played a picture-perfect, we are up 2 goals in a playoff game, 15 minutes to close that out. Truly just... keep the clock moving up and down, not getting ahead of your skis, no big chances either way. So it was a great effort. But, dude, for some reason, and the 200-foot empty netter, like you said, that was sick. Needed that in a big way. Yeah. But for some reason, I'm just not that rattled, I think, if I'm Vegas. Even with all the flowers I just put on Minnesota and all the hand up, I was wrong. You guys look awesome. I'm kind of like, I think we played like shit. I'm like, whatever. Let me check their road record.
That's not to discredit Minnesota by any means, but I agree with you. And you know what? Frankly, CP, I don't think any team should ever be rattled with a split. Losing at home sucks, but it's not basketball in that sense. It's not so important to win at home. I think Vegas knows that they did have some sloppy turnovers. They had a few goals that they gave up that they shouldn't have, and ultimately they fought back a little bit. The fact that Minnesota had an empty net opportunity, that means that you did battle back. And I think it's great that you've got guys like Hurdle. Who is performing so well. He performed so well all season long. And now you're getting him performing in the playoffs. It's one of those funny things, not to get a ricochet shot here at the Devils, but you look at some of those Sharks guys, Timo Meier and Tomas Hurdle, who moved on to new teams. It's like, what a success Hurdle has been. You want Meier to kind of be able to recreate some of that. So, yeah, if you're Vegas, it's to look at the other side of the coin too. You're like, Eichel's not really buzzing just yet. You know that's going to happen at some point.
Okay, but I will say on that front, Dan, you are not that Jack or Stoner or any of these guys are like mentally weak. They're certainly not. But you are, in my opinion, one game away from a narrative, though. Like, if
definitely.
they don't do shit in game 3, now you're in that thing where it's the Leafs last year, where they're like, where are you guys? What are you doing? Definitely. We are only losing because our top guys can't score. So I know they're feeling it a little bit of like, we gotta get on the board here because now it's on us.
For sure. But again, I think it's so different because you talk about the Leafs just then. You've got guys like Matthews and Marner who consistently don't do it. They have never not done it.
Yep.
So I think, sure, there's going to be butthole pundits who are like, oh, you're not going. But they're like, I've gone my entire career, dude. So fuck off.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't think any of them are worried about it. But definitely not so much from a narrative standpoint, just from a simple, it's the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm not scoring. If we want to win, I got to be scoring. That's what they're thinking about. So that has to get going as well.
Okay, we've got some mini fans up in here, dude. This is amazing.
Yeah, Wild fans. Talk to us in the chat.
Krill MVP next year. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I called it this year. If he didn't get hurt, he was going to get it, no question. I
mean, Boldy for Conn Smythe from Matt Boldy Glazer 12, which is incredible. Eriksson Ek is a menace to society.
I need to know if that name was created today or
Yeah, me
is that,
too,
has
me
that been
too.
a thing going on.
Jack looking really frustrated. I agree. Hey, Sully, we're here. We're good. Sully, Bingo is back officially next week.
This fucking idiot Sully is talking about bringing back Bingo after I told him today it's coming back. Just shut up.
Nicholas Bisbee says, I'm shocked how sleepy Vegas looked in the first period. But Nick, I would say not for the first 5-6 minutes.
Agreed.
Like, I actually thought they were everywhere for 6 minutes, and then it flipped on its head from some sloppy turnovers.
We talk about it. I mean, Tampa was similar, dude. So many times we talk about a 5-minute stretch in a period. That is 25%, dude. So I'm not going to give people flowers for a good 5 minutes.
Yep.
So I agree.
So Night Rome says, as a Vegas fan, I'm not rattled either. After the 4 goals, we were all over them. Just needed to manage the puck better, which I agree with.
Agree with that as well.
And people saying this is shaping up to be a really good series. I actually agree with that. And someone says Wild winning will screw up all kinds of hockey pool brackets, and agree, because I think universally,
buddy,
everyone has been like,
didn't you pick Vegas to win the cup?
Yeah, because you and I were kind of, I didn't want to have a Colorado Tampa.
Don't make excuses, dude. You picked Vegas to win the cup.
Okay, well, they're going to, so you'll be regretting that comment.
I didn't say they're not going to.
But yeah, they seem like one of the absolute heavyweights in the West. And a lot of that is because of how strong their D and goaltending is. Mm-hmm. And then the D were turning the puck over left and right last night. So it's if your massive strength turns into a weakness, that's actually a big problem.
So yeah, I think Vegas fans aren't necessarily worried. Certainly the team isn't worried. Like I said, a split is a split. It happens all the time. You almost expect it. This is a win for the Wild that changes this series, though. I don't think that this is like kind of an ugly, scrappy win. It makes us think, damn, anything could happen. You know, now we're going into game 3, gritting your teeth a little bit, going, shit, this is a bit of a tilt now.
Yep,
and that's really exciting as a fan, just as well as looking at from a hockey perspective. This is what you want from series. Yep,
Jack McLean says Minnesota going up 3-1, but then Quentin says Vegas was sloppy. They're going to clean it up and dominate. And I'm like, yeah, I can see both sides. You know, I actually don't think I can see Vegas going down 3-1, to be honest with you. But I think if they split in Minnesota, they come back and they go, all right, well, unfortunately, this is going a long way, but we're still going to win.
Yeah.
But Minnesota really, and actually, Dan, I'll say this too. Minnesota is a team that you don't want to give them a whiff. You don't want to give that mouse a cookie type situation, where some of these other teams, I'm like, well, you know, you're still better and it's going to be fine. Like if the no offense, but if the Blues win 2 in a row, even, I still think the Jets are like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But if the the healthy Minnesota Wild get going and get up against Vegas, you're like, Jesus Christ, dude, we got to figure this out.
My closing thoughts on this series will be, for the last 2 to 3 months, we've seen a bit of a hobbled Minnesota Wild team that was falling in the rankings. People were kind of sleeping on them, and then we got this matchup, and a lot of people counted them out. And now it looks like after game 1 and 2, because I'm going to give them respect for their performance in game 1, this is the Minnesota group that was top of the league for a long time in the beginning of the season. So it's a dangerous team. This is going to be a much more exciting series, I think, than a lot of people pegged. Yep. That is going to be it for our first episode of the Empty Netters Puckline News during the playoffs. CP, what do you got as we close out?
Someone had asked, and it got answered thanks to the chat. Someone had asked where we got this shirt. It's on our merch store. Dan's wearing one too. There's a ton of new cool stuff.
Hit up our Instagram. You'll see the link in the bio. Got our team store. Yes, we've got the Rink Rats retro team shirts. We've got all this new merch. Check it out. Guys, subscribe to the YouTube so you don't miss any more of these episodes. We will be back live on Friday, but we will also be hitting you with a new episode of the podcast tomorrow morning.
Which by the way, we are going to record again at midnight tonight. So, because here's the thing, a lot of people in the chat were asking about the other series. We're covering everything this way. So every other series, listen to the pod from yesterday. Yeah. Everything's in there. Kings game, we had just left the Kings game. It's all in there. And then the games from last night, we're doing these lives to make sure you get immediate access to those games. And then we'll have the pod coming out again tomorrow morning to hit the entire playoffs, but also everything that happens tonight.
Let's hope we see Landy playing.
It's Landy Day, dude. It's going to be insane.
I'm going to post our clip again.
Yeah.
When Landy hopefully plays it. All right, guys, that's it for us. We love you. We will see you later. We'll be watching the games tonight. Make sure you check out the podcast tomorrow, and then we'll see you again live on Friday. Until we see you,
skate hard.